we are ready to get started with our weights class today. We're doing a entirely floor-based exercise program today. So you're going to be on your mat the whole time. Make sure you have your water and your weights handy and easy to reach so you don't have to get up and walk around. We're going to start with our regular warm-up, but modified for being on the floor. So sitting in a comfortable seat, whether that's cross-legged or with your legs out in front of you, whatever's good for you, you're going to start with just loosening up your core, tapping your hands from side to side. Checking in, making sure everything's feeling pretty good. Might have a little bit of soreness if you were in class with me on Tuesday. That's okay, just keep an eye on it. A little soreness is not a big deal, but if anything hurts, you want to make sure you modify or leave off any exercises that aren't good for you. One more to each side. And then from here, we're going to move into arm circles. And then go the other way on those circles. Beautiful. Now throw those arms in and out, switching one hand on top and then the other. Still kind of paying attention, making sure everything's okay today. And then from here, moving down to your elbows, nice circles in one direction. And then go the other way. And then moving down to your wrists, same thing, circles in one direction. And the other direction. When you're doing a weight routine where you're going to be picking up heavy things, you got to make sure your joints are fresh and lubricated and ready to go so that you don't have any injuries. Including your hands, so squeeze those fingers in and out. Make sure you're ready to hold those weights. Perfect. From here, you're going to lean back, feet out in front of you, knees bent, and you're just going to swish your knees side to side, windshield wiper those legs. Again, checking in, seeing how everything's feeling, making sure your hips and hamstrings and glutes are doing okay. Beautiful. One more to each side. And then from here, stretch your legs all the way out, pop your knees up and down. And then again, just windshield wiper from here. Getting everything moving. Beautiful. All right, from here, we're going to pick up one foot, spin that ankle around, and go the other way. And then switch feet. And go the other way. Perfect. Set that foot down. Now that we've made sure everything's feeling okay and everything is ready to move, we're going to start with our first exercise. Our first two exercises, actually, we're not going to use weights. We're going to do body weight exercises. So you're going to go into a tabletop position, making sure you have plenty of space so that you're not going to bump into anything, especially if you live in a tiny house. You want your knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders, fingertips facing forward, and gaze down between your hands. From here, we're going to do a bird dog crunch. So you're going to reach out opposite hand and foot, and then pull everything in. Try to touch elbow to knee if you can. Set it down, and go to the other side. We're going to do that for 1 minute. You've got this. Here we go. Nice and steady. Trying to reach out, make a nice flat line before you pull everything in. Now you can do this one fast and add a little cardio, or you can keep it slow. Focus on the squeeze, squeezing your back in the top position and your abs in the bottom position. You're halfway done. Slow and steady, you got it. Or quicker if you want that cardio. Bumping up your heart rate. Almost there. And time. Beautiful. From here, we're going to go all the way down into a low plank. We're just going to hold the low plank for 1 minute. Now for a low plank, you're going to be down forearms to fingertips, making a little triangle. Come all the way up, make a nice flat back and squeeze your tummy in. If you can't hold this the whole time, feel free to drop your knees. No worries. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Now there's a lot of different variations of plank. So you can do low plank, high plank, side plank, reverse plank, all kinds of stuff. Low plank is really good for working the shoulders and the back and core. It also adds in some of the posterior chain if you're squeezing those glutes and legs in nice and tight. You're halfway done. You got this. Remember, dropping your knees is always an option. Or even go all the way down to the floor, rest for a moment, and then pop it right back up into it. Up to you. You make this workout work for you. As all movement is good movement, as long as it doesn't hurt. 10 seconds to go. You're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and time. Lower everything down. Maybe come into a quick child's pose. Stretch out those shoulders. And then we're up to our next activity. So from here, we're going to go all the way down onto the floor. And we're going to do a leg raise, but with our bottom leg. So if you put your top leg up, feet flat, knee bent, extend your bottom leg out straight. You're going to rest the weight on that inner thigh. From there, make your foot nice and active and flexed. And then you're just lifting, trying to keep it off the floor. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Now you can adjust the difficulty here, not only by what size weight you use, but also where on your leg you put the weight. The further down your leg, the harder this one is. But to protect your knee joint, you don't want to go below your knee or on it. You want to stay just above it or further up the thigh. Well, this doesn't take a big movement to activate these inner thigh muscles. So you can go really high if you have the range of motion. But if you don't, and you're just doing little few inches, that's okay too. It's still activating those muscles just as much. 15 seconds to go. You got this. You look fantastic. And time. Beautiful. Give yourself just a moment. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Same thing. Top leg goes behind, foot planted. Bottom leg extended, foot flexed. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. If your hips are a little sensitive or your bony points, you may want a little extra cushion on this one. You can always fold your mat in half or put an extra blanket or pillow underneath your hip to give yourself a little more support there. Doing great. You got it. 20 seconds to go. Keep it up. You can do it. Remember, you can always set that foot down for just a moment if you need to, and then get right back to it. And if you find this one to be really challenging, bring your foot all the way to the floor each time instead of hovering. Time. All right, from here, we're going to go all the way down flat on our back, and you are going to need 2 weights for this one. So we're going to go into a chest press. Actually, you'll only need 1 weight. I was wrong. We're going to do a single arm. So you're going to do a chest press with a chest pump. So you're going to be working the upper chest muscles, the pectorals, and the triceps. So flat on your back, arm out nice and wide. From here, you're going to press up, do that chest pump coming over to work the tricep, and then come back out. 30 seconds on each side, and I'll tell you when to switch. 1 minute, here we go. Make sure you do this one with good control. This is not one you want to add a little extra speed to. This one you want to slow down and really work those muscles. 10 seconds to go on this side. And switch. Pass it over to the other hand, and then same thing. Press up, bring it over, and then come back down nice and wide. And time. Beautiful. Take a moment. Give those arms a little shake. And then from here, we're going to move into a weighted bridge. So you can take that same weight you've been using and hold it right on top of your hips. From here, you're just going to make sure the weight doesn't roll, putting your hands as a stopper, but you're not lifting with your hands. Push up and then add on a little calf work, raising the heels off the ground. Come all the way back down, and then we'll do it again. All right, we've got 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Feel free to move your feet around. Find the best position for you. I prefer to keep my feet in pretty close to my bottom on this one. But you'll have to play around with to find the right position for your hips and your knees because everybody is different. Nice and steady. Try to lower at the same speed that you lift. So you're working the muscles in both directions. I can really feel the add-on on those calf muscles. Almost there, and time. Beautiful. All right, 1 set is done. Go ahead and set everything to the side, grab some water, and then we have another set to go. All right, before we start our second set, check in, make sure that there wasn't anything you need to change. Make sure your body's still feeling good. If you need to make anything harder, you can go up in weight or try a harder variation. If you need to make anything a little easier, go down in weight, slow it down, or do it without any weight at all. All right, go ahead and get back in that tabletop position, moving into that bird dog crunch. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Looking good. Remember, this is the one you can speed up the pace if you want to add a little cardio, or keep it slow, focusing on the squeeze, squeezing the back at the top, and squeezing the core at the bottom. You've got 15 seconds to go. Make sure you're still breathing nice and steady. And time. Beautiful. From here, we're going back into that low plank. Again, choose the variation that's right for you. Knees up, knees down. Adjust how wide your elbows are. Make it work for you. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Options here. If you can hold it for the full minute, go for it. If you need to put your knees down at any point, do that too. Or if you need to drop all the way to the floor, do that. Give yourself a quick count to 3 and then try to come right back up. You are doing fantastic. Halfway there, you've got it. You might feel that your body starts to shake a little. That's okay. If you get to a point where you need to, knees can go down or all the way down, but the shaking doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means your muscles are working. 5 more seconds. Time. Reach back into that child's pose. Stretch everything out. And then we got to get ready for our next exercise. From here, we're going into that bottom leg raise. So you're going to grab your weight. Get yourself in position. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Remember to keep that foot flexed. It's going to help keep those leg muscles engaged. And you're just using your hand to hold the weight so it doesn't roll. Not using it to support it all. Let your leg do the work on this one. Variations are to let the leg rest all the way down, or take the weight off and do this one just as a body weight exercise, or combine those and do body weight and let the leg rest. Totally up to you. 15 seconds to go. Time. Take a second, stretch everything out a little, and then we got to switch to the other side. One minute on the clock. Here we go. You've got it. Looking good. Halfway done. Make whatever modifications you need to, but try to keep moving. You can do it. 15 more seconds. Almost there. And time. All right, next up, we have that chest press plus the chest pump for the tricep. So go all the way flat on your back, knees bent, arm out nice and wide. And I'll tell you when to switch. Here we go. Up and over. Good control in both directions, same speed. Really work those muscles. 5 seconds left on this side. And switch. You may find that one side is a little harder than the other. That's normal. Most of us have a little bit of muscle imbalance. That's why single arm exercises are great, because they help to correct that. Force you to really rely on the muscles on that side. And time. All right, last up, we have that weighted hip bridge. So rest the weights right on your hips. Support with your hands so they don't roll. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Up, and then raise the heels, and then lower everything back down. Now, something that'll help you keep your lower body more engaged on this one is to try not to let your knees fall out to the side. How wide your feet are and how far in they are, that's individual preference, but you don't want your knees falling out sideways. You want to try to pull your knees in towards each other to keep the muscles of the inner thigh engaged, as well as the outer thigh. You've got this. You guys are doing amazing. Time. And that is another set down. Grab some water. We still have 1 set to go. All right, bring it back in. Getting back in position. First up, we have the bird dog crunch. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Last round, you can do it. Halfway there. Ten seconds to go. Time. Beautiful. From here, back down into that low plank. Now, remember, we've done this for 2 minutes already. So if you need to modify, drop those knees at any time. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Make sure you're taking nice, even breaths. Slow and steady. You never know how long a minute is until you're doing a plank, right? You're halfway there already. You got it. Keep breathing. 20 seconds to go. Another variation is you can come up to dolphin for just a moment. That one's especially good if you feel a lot of tightness in your low back. 5 more seconds. time. Pop back to child's pose, stretch everything out. Take a nice deep breath. And then let's get into position for our next exercise. Up next, we have that bottom leg raise. So grab your weight. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. And we're not done. We still have a few exercises to go. But take a second just to congratulate yourself, because that was 3 full minutes of plank. That's amazing. Plank is a really hard exercise. You guys did fantastic. We're halfway there. Remember your modifications on this one. Let the foot rest all the way down for a quick second, or remove the weight, or do both. 15 more seconds. Oh, I'm going to feel this one tomorrow for sure. And time. Beautiful. Take a second. And then switch sides. One minute on the clock. Here we go. Oh, I'm glad I turned my fan on today. I am super sweaty. Halfway done. You've got this. Seems like a really simple exercise, but man, it really works those legs. 15 seconds. Five seconds to go. You can do it. And time. Whew, all right. Flat down on your back for that single arm chest press with the chest pump. Knees bent. Arm out nice and wide. Here we go. Up and over. Remember, good control. Don't let the weight just fall. Lower it at the same pace you raise it. Ten seconds to go on this side. And switch. You got this. And time. Beautiful. All right, last exercise. Rest those weights right across your hips. Hands in place for support. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Up, and then lift the heels, and then lower everything back down with good control. Pulling those knees in towards each other. Don't let them fall out to the sides. They don't have to touch. You just want them to not flop. Keep those muscles engaged. You guys look great. Almost there. And time. Nice. Go ahead and set those weights to the side. That was your last one. Grab some water, and then we're going to do a final stretch. All right, bring everything back in. Whew, great job today. Go ahead and stretch your legs out in front of you. We're going to start with just bringing our arms up overhead and then folding forward, reach towards your toes. Pause here for just a second. And then roll your way up nice and slow. And we're going to do that again. Arms up. Reaching towards those toes. Maybe get a little closer this time. And then roll your way up. One more time. Arms up. Reaching forward towards those toes. This time, before we come up, we're going to walk our hands over to one side. Add a little bit of rotational stretch through the side body. Only go as far as feels good until you feel just a gentle stretch down that side body, maybe through the shoulders. Walk your hands back to center and then over to the other side. And then back to center again and all the way up. Now, doing a little more work on that side body, we're going to breathe one arm up and over, and you can use the other hand for support. Stay here, take a nice deep breath. And then we're going to come right back up and go to the other side. Again, stay here, take a nice deep breath. And then come right back up. From here, we're going to take one leg and cross it over the other for a nice figure four. And we're just going to try to lean forward with the flat back until you feel a good stretch through those hips. If it feels good, you can use your elbow to push your knee down to open that hip up even a little bit more. One more breath here. And then release. And go to the other side. Now, if the figure four is hard for you, you can cross at the ankle instead of at the knee and see if that helps open that hip up a little. So find the position that's right for you. Lean forward. Maybe reach that hand out to grab the toes. Maybe use the elbow to push the knee down. And release. And then we're going to finish off with a nice butterfly stretch. So bring those feet in, palms of the feet together, bottoms of the feet. I have always called them the palms. I don't know, maybe that's just me. You're going to then use your elbows to push your knees down just a little more if it feels good. And hinge forward until you feel that nice opening through the hips. Take 2 good breaths here. And one more. And then come up nice and slow. Hug your knees in. Give yourself a big hug. Tell yourself thanks for all the hard work you did taking care of yourself today. Great job. And I will see you next week.